Welcome to Conversations from the Vault, sponsored by Angelina Corroo of Hometown Realty. And today's guest is none other than Angelina Corroo, our 2023 board chair, and we're so excited to have you here with us to kind of discuss your journey and your accomplishments in 2023 as board chair and things that you see for the future of the chamber.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your sponsorship for this year and believing in this podcast. It's something that has been on the radar for a while, and I've really enjoyed doing them, and I really appreciate your support and your leadership this year.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed serving under you as chair, and we've had some fun interactive board meetings and some great accomplishments, and I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that. But first, I'd like for everybody to know a little bit about your leadership journey and why you decided you wanted to be the chair and serve on the board prior to that. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, thanks, Dana. And I have really enjoyed working with you this year as well. We had really a great year, I thought. I tried to keep it kind of fun and, everybody engaged, and I think they enjoyed it too.
I do too.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I actually joined this chamber back in 2012. Mm-hmm. I was a nutrition coach back then. I was selling supplements, and I was a CrossFit trainer. And so I was doing different things. And I had just kind of transitioned out of a business that I owned in Fuquay, Verena, and so I wanted to kind of focus more on Clayton, where I actually live.
Right.
So we actually founded Clayton Women in Networking that year with several of the business women here in the community, which mostly all of them are retired by now, which is kind of exciting for them just to watch that transition. And so then in 2016, I became a realtor. And a few years after that, I started working at HTR, Hometown Realty, which is right here on Main Street. Yep. And actually, Barry Woodard and James Lipscomb, who are the two owners of the company, they have been just crazy active in the chamber.
Yes.
They've both been past chairs at least once, maybe each more than once. And they were the original, hosts of the Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
And
so they sort of revitalized the whole Harvest Festival. So that was wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, just a really long history of service in the community. So, I had the opportunity to apply to be on this board, and I was like, it makes sense because we do so much around here, and I like to take charge of things. Most people who know me know that I enjoy, taking the reins. And so I was excited to be on the board. And I've been on the board, I think, about 6 years, actually. And you asked me why I wanted to be the chair. I only secretly wanted to be the chair. I never told anyone that.
Didn't.
I never told anyone, but it was something that I thought, that could be a possibility for me in the future. And I feel like maybe I'm a little bit younger than most chairs usually are. And so I just was like thinking about that would be cool. And then suddenly I was nominated by someone, and I don't even know who nominated me to this day. But it was really an honor to be recognized in that way and to be to ask to do something like that.
Yeah.
So I was excited about it. The second that someone said, "Hey, we want you to be the vice chair next year," I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I didn't hesitate for a second. So,
well, one of the things that I love about my position here is to be able to watch people grow as leaders and hopefully take them from to the next level and give them opportunities to grow. And and I've certainly seen that in your leadership since you've been here at the chamber and what you did with Clayton Women in Networking.
Thank
you. It's been a great experience for me as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about as a business owner, the value of investing in the chamber and why you felt that it was important. Not only the leadership component, but how has it helped your business grow and develop?
Well, as I mentioned, I used to own a business in Fuquay Arena, and at that time, I was a member of the Fuquay Arena Chamber, the Holly Springs Chamber, and the Garner Chamber. And I noticed at that time, and I mean, I was, 10, 12 years younger than I am now, so I was, it wasn't really a thing that I knew a lot about, but I figured it made sense to when you start a new business, they kind of reach out to you and invite you to join the chamber. So we did.
Yeah.
Anyways, right at that time, I noticed how different those chambers were. The Fuquay Arena Chamber was pretty active. They had a lot of events on the calendar, and then, some of the other chambers didn't. And it was just really interesting to me how they were so different.
Yeah.
So then when I left that business and wanted to focus more on Clayton, it made sense to me that I would immediately join this chamber and start to get to know the business owners here. Because I will say that, not to talk too much about Fuquay, I'm just saying, like, at that time, the business I owned was the only salon, like an upscale salon in Fuquay at the time. And pretty much all of the chamber members came to the salon and patronized us and, supported us. So I just had a really good experience. So when I came here, I was very happy to see that this chamber was even though we had different leadership at that time, it still was pretty active. We still had a lot of events. There were a lot of really caring individuals, like Sarah Martin and Sarah Perricone and all of the women that I met when I first came here. There was just a lot going on, and I was excited to kind of be a part of it. Yeah. So I can't tell you how, it's impossible to even quantify how much the chamber has meant to my business, because even when I was in health and wellness, everyone around here was my customer. They came to my home and did workouts in my garage, and it was really neat. It was really, really neat. And then we all got together and started Clayton Women in Networking together. And
which
it was
a testament to your leadership skills there.
Yeah.
Just to be able to see the need of a women's organization here in Clayton. That was amazing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly my idea, but as soon as Sarah Perricone asked me if I would help, I didn't hesitate.
I'm sure.
Of course, I was ready to help her with that. But what I want to say is, okay, so everyone just kind of is so supportive, and I think you have to also give back, though, too.
Sure.
You can't just join the chamber and expect people to start coming to your business and just expect, good things. You have to also put in your time and efforts, and you have to, it's like reciprocal. So when I switched into real estate, though, that was what really amazed me. I knew I was new. I knew everyone knew I was new, and I wasn't really expecting to be very successful immediately.
Right.
But I was. And that was because I didn't understand it at first, but after reflecting on it, I realized it was because I had a large network already of people that knew me and liked me and trusted me. They knew I was a hard worker. They knew my work ethic. So when I switched careers, basically, they were all in to support me just the same as they were before. That was incredible. And I don't think I would have been as successful as I am without having been a chamber member and an active one.
Right.
Because I've been helping with the Harvest Festival, and I can't even think, the reverse raffle and education committee and all kinds of things ever since I've been here. So I think that's really what it means to me, is just having an opportunity to give back. And I realized long ago that there's so many different organizations as you can join, like Clayton Rotary and the Women's Club and certain other charitable organizations. And I kind of decided that for me, I enjoy helping other business owners the most. Right. So that is why I focus on the chamber and Clayton Women in Networking. That's kind of where I feel like my niche is. You know?
Well, giving back and mentoring is, I've seen as important to you.
Yeah.
And you were a mentor for Launch Joko, and I see you mentor other new realtors that come into your organization, and I think that's very important. and building relationships that you mentioned is
Yeah.
extremely important to be at front of mind. We have people call here and say, I met a realtor at your event. I can't remember her name, but she had long hair.
Yeah.
Or, things like that. And they do it all the time with different people. I met somebody else, and who was it? And so you're in somebody's forefront of mind.
Yeah.
And it really does help you grow your business and build your relationships.
It does. And I know not everyone may feel like they have the time to do that. I mean, I don't personally have a storefront, so I'm not stuck in an office or at a place of business all day like some other people may be. But you really need to figure out how you can get involved, whether it's coming to the Good Morning Clayton at 8 o'clock in the morning, or bash after hours, or just volunteering for one of our task forces. I mean, just somehow get involved and meet some of your fellow business owners, because they're the ones that understand what you're going through the most.
Exactly.
And they're going to be I have found they're the ones that are most willing to help when you need it, because they know it could be them, next time.
You could be caught in a silo running your business.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it's nice to be able to connect with other people who understand what you're going through, just like you mentioned. So 2023, it's been
it was good.
It was a great year.
Yeah.
And it went by really fast.
It did.
Because we're almost at the end of it.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about the accomplishments that you're most proud of this year, and some things that we have put in place and we've improved upon, and talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, it makes our job a lot easier having the strategic planning session that we do every year. Having that, and we had that in Win as well, and it just helps so much to focus and to be able to strategize, what we're gonna, prioritize, because there is so much to do, and everyone thinks that their own thing is important.
Exactly.
And so I think one of the most exciting programs for me is the Launch Joko program. Honestly, especially because I said earlier that I do want to kind of focus on helping other business owners. I'm just blown away with what that program has become in only 2 short years. I mean, it's really incredible. And we had the graduation ceremony / commencement last month, and I almost was in tears just watching the students and just how appreciative they were for the grants that they won, and just for all of the time and effort that was spent. And the things we had them each kind of say something. Melissa read it, but I mean, they each gave some words for how they felt about the program. And it just was really, really, I don't know, it just made me feel so good that we're able to provide this free of charge, basically, thanks to our sponsors. So, I was a mentor the first year, and then since I was the chair of the board this year, I didn't want to overextend myself, so I didn't mentor anyone this time, but I'd like to again in the future, and maybe be a little bit more involved in that program as time goes by, because it's evolving. When Melissa told us the changes that they're making this year, I was just like this program is going to become huge. We're going to need another staff person just to run this program, and I mean, it's going to be something that, it's going to set an example for a lot of surrounding, chambers. And so now we have the people who are really not off the ground yet. They've got, what is it called? Launch Next.
Launch Now.
They're going to be launched now.
Well,
no, they're Launch Next.
Yeah,
I think so.
Launch Next.
So they don't have a business yet. So they're going to be working with the Small Business Center
at JCC,
and really taking advantage of all of the free resources that they have there to get started with their business. Once they have a business, they're making some money, then they can actually do the Launch Joko Now program, where they take the 12-week course. Is it 12 or 14 weeks?
It's 14 weeks.
14 weeks, and then they get matched up with one of our mentors. And then what I'm most excited about is
Me
Launch
too.
Beyond, because that's been part of our strategic plan for the last couple of years.
Yes.
Is the chamber starting to provide entrepreneurial resources for our investors.
Yes.
And so that is what Launch Beyond will be, and everyone can take advantage of it. So I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
So I'm excited about that.
I'm looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
we're talking about how this program can continue to evolve, maybe into a demo day where the students present their businesses to the public, and so that they can see what they're doing and maybe do some more pitches. And
Yeah.
so it really is a phenomenal program that changes lives. And
Definitely.
I think that's why it's so heart touching to see all of the students when they graduate and talk about what the program's meant to them. And you know, they have been instrumental in helping us make improvements and change the program. And so it is continually evolving. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first year, we had the graduation, and then we started the mentorship, and we noticed right away that didn't make any sense. So now we're doing the mentorship, and then if you complete everything, then you can graduate. And just those little tweaks, make more sense and make it more valuable, to the mentor and the mentee, So.
Exactly. Well, we're very fortunate, and you mentioned Holly Springs earlier. Holly Springs, this was birthed out of Launch My City in Detroit. Katie Gales and Matthew Kane from North Raleigh Rotary brought it to Wake County.
Yeah.
Now it's all over Wake County, and then we've sort of taken it and morphed it into a combination of lots of other programs. And and then this year, Katie is actually going to be our instructor for these students. And so I'm very excited about bringing her on board as our...
They were too.
And so, what better than having the guru of entrepreneurism be your mentor and teacher? So it's amazing. So
yeah, absolutely. So... well, along those lines, I mean, I'm excited about Elevate Her, the Women's Empowerment Summit. I mean, we did it 2 years, and we're still tweaking that as well. I am excited that Clayton Women in Networking is the presenting sponsor for the last couple of years. And I personally, my vision for that is to maybe try to convince them to take more of a lead on that, or just kind of help us a little bit more get the word out and really get some great speakers in here and really try to elevate that to the next level. But it's been incredible so far. So it doesn't need much, but just a little bit more massaging, kind of like the Launch Joko too.
Well, programs take a while to get off the ground, and we want to make sure that as many people hear about the program as possible so they can come and take advantage of the amazing speakers and leadership and professional development that the summit provides. So I agree totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
well, let's talk about our building.
Okay, yeah.
Because that was one of your goals for this year is to, we talked about this beautiful building that this chamber lives in. I mean, because we pretty much live here. And it's just a beautiful historical landmark in downtown Clayton. And it's over 100 years old, so it needs lots of TLC. And so you sort of revive that. And thank you. So let's talk about what's happened since you put the task force in place.
Sure. Well, it's something that we have been talking about as a board for a while. And then COVID happened, and so there were some other priorities, I guess. But, we're out of COVID now. So I was like, okay, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Let's do something.
Good.
So I was like, we're doing this task force. And, I'll be frank, part of what I like to try to do is to get people to think outside of the box a little bit, and to maybe think about some hard decisions.
Sure.
And I know that it wasn't always your favorite thing to talk about, but I said, does it even make sense for us to be in this building? Is it big enough for us? Do we want it to be downtown? Or, some people sometimes, don't realize that the chamber reaches all of the businesses all the way out to the edges of Clayton and Cleveland and beyond. So, I just was challenging everybody to think about, would there be another location that would make sense? Meanwhile, we were looking at this building and kind of what are the maintenance issues that we have here. I mean, we do, like you mentioned, it's an old building, and we do have some deferred maintenance that we really need to attend to now, and the windows and, the roof and certain things. So we had kind of one team kind of thinking about, all of that, maybe moving, one team thinking about staying. We did a comprehensive building assessment, thanks to Doug McClintock, architect, and it turned out that the building is not in as bad of disrepair as like we were thinking it could be. So that was really good news.
Was great news.
Really good news.
Yeah.
It's really a manageable amount of maintenance that's needed, and thankfully we actually have most of the funds that we're going to need for the major repairs already. So that was like great news. Also, Doug did a needs and wants assessment with you and the staff about like if you could have anything that you wanted and set up just the way that it would be perfect for you or other chambers you've seen, what would you want and how would you want it laid out, and an actual podcast studio and stuff like that. And so he looked at the list and he determined that this building could actually meet just about all of the needs. Really, the only thing this building can't do for us is if we want to have a large event. Like we're crammed in this lobby when we have people for Good Morning Clayton, and there's just not like a conference center, which obviously there's not room in here for that. But other than that, it can meet all of our needs. Right. So the task force decided, yes, we're definitely going to stay here. We're definitely going to renovate this building and bring it back to, its glory days, so to speak. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done with that. And it's a historical building, so we have to follow all of those rules and everything. But I'm excited because the first step is to get the repairs done, which we'll be working on. Like, it's our goal basically to have all the critical repairs done next year. Right. Period. That's happening. And then after that, we will work with Doug to create like, what would you call it? Like a renovation plan for the layout. Yeah. Where will the offices be? Will the conference center stay upstairs? What will that look like? Stuff like that. And where will the podcast studio be? And, can we put anything in the basement and stuff like that? And then we'll probably be doing the foundation, the Clayton Chamber Foundation will be doing a capital campaign for the public to help us with our renovations.
But we've gotten some help, which is amazing.
Yes.
Anne, who is a grant writer, has helped us immensely. So we received a grant from the Johnson County Visitors Bureau and received a grant from the Covington Foundation, who is going to restore our windows. And she came last week. Oh, good. To look at everything. So I'm very excited about that moving forward. So that's great. 2024, we'll see some improvements in this building and some of the repairs that we need to make to preserve the beauty and the history. Absolutely. Of this building and then continue to try to make it functional for us to work here. Yeah. Which you guys are managing to do just fine, but I think it could be it could be better. Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah. That's okay. Right. So anything else you want to talk about as far as 2023? I mean, I could ramble on forever. Yeah. Everyone knows that. Just a lot. We had our awards ceremony. Yes, that was lovely. It was very lovely. And I wanted to just kind of briefly mention that we honored Ernest Blackley, who is an icon in this town. Absolutely. And his family is I don't know, just the fabric of what Clayton is, and they're Blacklist Printing on Main Street, and it was wonderful to present the Lifetime
Yes.
Achievement Award to Miss Joyce Tuesday night, and
Yes.
have all his family there.
That was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And then also to mention renaming our Ambassador of the Year award to honor Terry Black's memory. She was loved by many. I know you were a dear friend to her, and it was great to see Ian.
Yes.
And glad he could be here to present the first award.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was really special. Both of those were very, very special. So it's kind of sad that we had those two passings this year, but actually it's nice to be able to honor people that meant so much to us, and now they'll be even more in our memories. So yeah. And I just want to also say that my friend Gabriella Terry cleaned house that night. I couldn't think of someone who deserves all of those awards more than her at Shafala's. She was one of the Volunteers of the Year, one of the Gratitude Award winners. She was the Entrepreneur of the Year. And what was the other one? A big one.
Volunteer, Entrepreneur, Gratitude.
Yes. And there was one other huge award.
There was one other huge award
that she won. And I just was so excited for her. Oh, well, she was Terry Black Ambassador of the Year.
Oh, yeah. Yes, duh.
So I'm proud of her. Yeah.
Yes.
She's another one that is rising through the leadership. And I've seen her evolve over the years, because, I don't remember when I first met her, but it was right around the time, that I joined this chamber.
Yeah.
She's been in business a long time, and she's very young.
That's true.
Yeah.
She walked through these doors and said, "I'm starting a business. What do I need to do?" And she calls Maria and I her chamber mom. So.
See, there you go. So that's just another example of how this chamber, can help you with, your business advancement, because she's all in around here too.
Yeah.
So,
I told her, I texted her and she said, thanked us and all. And I said, well, you know what? You get what you give, right?
Yes.
And she's a perfect example of a giver. And she's a huge proponent, like you, of mentorship and
absolutely
giving back to others to help them succeed. And it comes back tenfold, right? So
definitely. Yeah.
So anything else you'd like to wrap up your wonderful and amazing year as the chair of the Clayton Chamber of Commerce?
No, not really. I just want to thank you for asking me to do this today. And, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be on the board and the executive committee all next year too.
Right. Well, we've still got more to accomplish.
Yes, there's plenty more work to do. So anyways, but thank you again for your leadership, and, to all the staff around here. It's really incredible. We joke about, like, you guys can never leave, but we mean it, because we would be so sad, we just can't even imagine what it would be like. So we don't want to.
Well, you don't have to.
Yay.
I think we're here to stay, and we enjoy what we do, and
that's evident.
Love working with the community and helping business succeed, and putting programs in place to help students become a great workforce in the future. And so it's been a joy. It really has. So, well, thanks for being my guest.
Sure.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.